Worthily should be strong late.
Worthily on the outside takes the lead. Got there. Maybe an out.
But I think Nicolini Vito is a good chance.
Pence is going to get close, but not close enough. And Nicolini Vito wins the last from 3 and 4 Pence.
What a shocker last weekend. Only tipped 2 winners and one was via the scratching of Tuvalu. Anyway, we're heading back to Caulfeild this weekend for the Metropolitan Racing in Melbourne. Track's rated at good for, and I don't think that's going to change. I think I've found some winners and I think I've found some value on this great card. And of course, we have the Group 1 racing returning to Melbourne in the CF4 Stakes, and it's a great card. Let's get into the winners. Race 1 is a benchmark 84 handicap over 1400 metres. This is the market headed by In the Boat at $2.25, Unanimous at $5, and Fundraiser at $5.50. This is the last start effort of In the Boat at Moonee Valley, where he bounded out of the gates and went straight to the lead, but was clearly headed by midships around the 500. But he had the rail advantage, and even with that advantage, he kicked and won by 2 lengths. Now I know what you're going to say. He's got to go to 1400 metres, but he stepped up to the plate every time the stable has asked him to. He drew the widest barrier at Caulfeild a couple of starts back and was still too good, and he wins in my mind. He wins. Yes, he has to step out to 1400 metres, but is the one to beat, and I can see why he's so short. He's on the way up, progressive, and should be extremely hard to beat. Unanimous next was really good last start at Flemington. Paperboy for third was a good win at last start at Caulfeild, and Ripperita is good first up and will improve on whatever she does here. But In the Boat, if he runs 1400, he wins. That simple. $40 for him to win. Race 2 is the Group 2 Autumn Stakes, and I'm with one that's not closely fancied in the market. This is the market headed by Decent Rain at $3.40, Coast Watch at $6, and Spirit of Gaylord. This is the last start effort of Spirit of Gaylord at Flemington, where he jumped well instead of midfield and stayed there for the journey of the race, and made it, and towards a turn was one off the five wide line rounding the turn, and came pounding down the centre of the track, but was challenged late by Americana and Blushing Tycoon, but found late and was slightly drawing away on the line. So Spirit of Gaylord on top. There is nothing to do with the colours, I promise. That win was really, really good. Decent Rain for second. He was really strong last start in winning at Flemington. The subsequent place getters, Omgawa, who didn't go too bad last weekend, and a tractable one on Wednesday. So he's a chance, but has been up a long time. Sharp Response was good behind Invincible Jet at the Valley, and Burning Power next best. But Spirit of Gaylord has the different form line, which I'm following. $5 for him to win. Race 3 is the Group 3 Blue Diamond preview for the Colts and Geldings. This is the market headed by Jack and O at $2.60, Count the Headlights at $3.90, and $5 for Similion. This is the last start effort of Jack and O at Caulfeild, where he jumped away fairly at the absolute best, stayed there for most of the race, and then he made a mini forward move passing the 500 metres, and then when they entered the straight, couldn't decide where to go, lugged in and out, and then the jockey straightened him up. Once that happened, bang, came flying down the outside of the track and won really well, and was still drawing away on the line. Query is that he might get bailed away, but off his last start, he might just be too good than this field, so I think Jack and O should be winning. Similion is the biggest danger. Was a really good win at the Valley in a listed race on debut. Count the Headlights beat one of his main rivals in Euros. Lascar's next best, but if Jack and O wins in any sort of matter, like he did at his first start, he'll win the Blue Diamond, hands down. Race 4 is the Group 2 Blue Diamond Prelude for the Phillies. This is the marker headed by Miss Rosiano at $4.80, English Riviera at $5, and Letizia at $7. This is a last start effort of Miss Rosiano at Caulfeild over 1,000 metres at Group 3 level, where she jumped beautifully, went straight to the front, and honestly never looked like losing, even though she had horses all around her rounding the home turn, but had the advantage of the rail and the lead and simply kicked and got away. The inside horse gave some pressure, but she pulled away late and was ripping away from her rivals on the line. On that basis, none of these horses behind her, I think, will beat her. And I don't think anything will beat her from this field because she looks a nice filly. And Geordie Child sticks, which is very encouraging. If there is a danger, it's No Diggity, whose last start, who is undefeated from 2 starts. And considering she was odds on, it is now $12. Craig knew it sticks. Is wrong, should be shorter, and is value. Revolutionary Miss, and She Dances. Next best, and She Dances is bred very well out of Street Boss and Charleston Dancer, who is related to Lonhro, and Street Boss had Hanseatic, who was great, and at $41 is definitely over the odds. Race 5 is the Group 3 Kevin Heffernan Stakes. This is the market headed by Scorched Earth at $3.70, $7 for Mallory, and $7.50 for Argentia. This is a last start effort of Scorched Earth at Caulfeild, where she jumped well but was restrained back to midfield. But the result of that was she was three wide and came to the turn 5 horses wide. And you wouldn't have been surprised if she dropped completely out. But she came pounding down the middle of the track effortlessly and won really well. Look, Scorched Earth is the one to beat for mine because she's been flying this campaign, beating some good horses, and has been kept up to the mark by an easy trial. Heresy for second was performing well in group company, and to be honest, she was unlucky not to win more because she's only won 1 from 7, but she's only been out of the placings twice. Argentia was great on debut and then had no luck next start. Madame de Garce next best, but Scorched Earth should come blazing down the middle of the track and burn them off late. $15 to win. Race 6 is the Group 3 TS Carlyon Cup. This is the market headed by Open Minded at $3, Normandy Bridge at $3.80, and Shared Ambition at $5.50. This is the last start effort of Coolside Mav in the Group 1 Wait for Age Ladbrokes Cox Plate, where he jumped well and went forward and set out from the leader and settled well in the same position, was under hard riding rounding the turn, and I know what you're thinking. He dropped away quickly, but the thing you need to consider is it was his first run in Melbourne and his first run in Australia. He's on top easily. Had his first start in Australia's Wait for Age Championship being the Cox Plate, and comes back to Group 3 level and has the best first up record with 4 starts for 3 wins and a place. No other horse has a record like him first up. Well, maybe Spanish Mission, but he's never won first up before. Open Minded for second was a brilliant winner last start and loves Caulfeild, unbeaten over 4 runs at the track. Spanish Mission for third. 1600 might be too short, but it can be done. Look at what a horse called Incentivized did. Normandy Bridge next best, and $10 to win on Coolside Mav looks a good bet to me. Race 7 is the Group 2 Rubiton Stakes. This is the market headed by Artorias at $4.20. I personally couldn't take that price. It's too short for a back marker that runs on. Oxley Road at $4.80 and Ingratiating at $5.50. This is the last start effort of Oxley Road at Flemington in the Linlithgow Stakes, where he jumped well, and when they split, he led the division up the middle of the track. And just after coming onto the course proper, got his head up, and when the jockey started to straighten him, he lugged in on top of Kemble Passer, but that was an end of prep run. He's on top for me. He's had a trial before his return, which was very strong, and his first up record, 1 win and a place from 2 starts. Ingratiating, brilliant when he was first up in the Vane Stakes, came flying down the outside and won really well. Artorias next. He's always been competitive around this level, but he's a run-on back-marker sprinter, and that's cost him more than once. But his run in the Coolmore was encouraging. Marine won next best, again, been up a long while, but gets Jamie Carr on. Oxy Road should be the one that finishes over the top of them, $10 each way. Race 8 is the Group 1 CF4, the highlight of the meeting. This is the market headed by Cinnamon at $4, Behemoth at $6, and I'm Thunderstruck and Tafane both at the $6.50 mark. Just shows how hard this race is. This is the last start effort of Behemoth at Morphettville, where he jumped really well but settled midfield and stayed there for most of the race. And rounding the home turn, came out and came booming down the middle of the track and kept powering all the way to the line and absolutely savaged the line, but couldn't quite pick up Camel Pass. And as an older horse, I'm not convinced he's as agile over the sprint trips as he used to be. 1400 is his go, and he'll improve lengths off his first up run. All being said, Behemoth on top. He's won plenty of races over the Caulfeild 1400 metres. He's won the Memsey twice, the Sarupic and the Sarupic Clark, and performed well in the Futurity last year. So he's on top in a race. I couldn't split most of these. I'm Thunderstruck. What he did in virtually one campaign, from a booming win at Flemington, then winning in Group 1, fantastic. Inspirational Girl next was a good run in the Memsey. Considering what happened, it was tipped out straight after. And first up, she's 2 wins and a place from 4 starts. At the distance, 5 from 8 with 2 placings. So I wouldn't leave her out of anything. And Lighthouse for 4th. He brings the different form line. Winning her first 4 Australian starts and should have won a last start. But the winner, Open-Minded, was often gone. But $20 the win and place on Behemoth is a good thing for him to snag another Group 1 at Caulfeild. Race 9 is the Group 3 Jeffrey Balmain Stakes, and this looks a one-horse race. This is a marker headed by Probability at $1.95, Marbusha at $4.40, and Flying Mascot at $5.50. This is the last start effort of Probability in the Ladbrokes Cox Plate, where I'm going to say it now, didn't handle the ground being a wet track. But to do what she did was a great effort, from jumping well, travelling amazing, and still being competitive at the end. Even though she did drop out, she did a terrific job, and is just a terrific horse. Running in 4 Group 1s in the spring, considering last autumn she resumed in this race and won it, then went on to win the Futurity. She's a great horse. I'm going to say it now. She won't be beaten. $1.95 is a great bet. She should be $1.50 against this lot. First up being 4 from 6, 2 and 2 seconds, and at the distance 4 from 7 with a second, and 4 from 5 at Caulfeild, and overall is 12 from 28 with 8 second. She's just a ripping mare. Flying Mascot for second. My query is she effective over this sprint trip of this race? But she's good first up, and good on good ground, and has performed well at Caulfeild before, and she stands third class in her Tessio Stakes romp. Marbusha is a class outside of Probable and Flying Mascot, and Probable's stablemate in for 4th, being Karma last. And I would be amazed if the top 3 didn't finish in the trifecta. Hopefully in the order I've got them. Overall, Probable clearly the one to beat. My tips for Saturday racing at Doomben, Morphettville, Ascot and Randwick will be on my Twitter on Saturday morning. Thanks for watching another preview. Let's get the winners for the first Group 1 meeting in Melbourne for 2022. Thanks for watching.